Good evening. It was an evening of inspiration and community support with a big focus on education at the Lakeland College President's Gala last night. Many dignitaries attended the event, but Canada's Man in Motion was a special guest, and he left many of the audience members with something to remember.
Everything about who I was depended on the use of my legs.
But it all changed for the then 15-year-old Rick Hansen when an accident left him paralyzed from the waist down. Today, he's a world-renowned Paralympian, an innovator who's raised millions of dollars for spinal cord injury research through his foundation. Hansen also hopes to push the message that education is one of the keys to success.
I know from personal experience that if it wasn't for subsidies or scholarships or bursaries to be able to help me, I would have never gone to university and never been able to have wheeled around the world and make a difference.
Premier Dave Hancock also says the province will continue to make sure students have access to the types of education they need.
We have to make sure that people graduate from high school and transition to post-secondary, because 80% of the new jobs require post-secondary education. I would say to students just starting and just graduating what I say to my daughter, and that is, you get to work for 45 years, find your passion, find what you're good at, take the time to do it right.
To graduating students, Hansen says to continue moving forward, following your passions, and to make a difference.
Honor the success. Remind yourself of the lessons that you've actually learned, the skills that you've absolutely acquired and that you have, so that when you go forward and apply them into the real world, you know, that they'll take you to the next level.
I never thought I would ever meet him because he was my hero a long time ago, and he still is, but it's just wicked to meet him. Keep pushing and keep always have a good attitude, I guess. Never get down, because I guess it could be worse.
Focus on what you can do.
The night included a silent auction. All proceeds will go to a fund for student financial awards. Hundreds of religions are practiced around the world on a daily basis, and last night at the Vic Juba Community Theatre, a few members from some of the different religions met under one roof for an interfaith symposium to share their views on a difficult topic: why does God allow suffering? Anne Knopfate has more.
5 different viewpoints were represented from people of different faiths, including Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Sikhism, and Hinduism. Now, there are many differences between these religions, but all the speakers agree it is important to come together and discuss their perspectives.
I think that we can look at the differences and still learn from it. So there may be differences, there may be profound differences, but it's still important to actually explore those differences and kind of just question your own what we are brought up as.
I don't really think actually that any faiths are completely incompatible with one another. I think all faiths have some form of common themes and dialogue. I don't think there's anybody I don't think it's possible to be completely incompatible.
And getting into the topic of the night, suffering in the world and why does God allow it? The speaker from the Grace United Church believes it is part of our human nature.
That doesn't mean that a merciful, loving God either causes it to happen or allows it to happen. It really means that these things are simply going to happen unless and until our faiths learn how to temper our natural kind of urges and expectations.
And the Muslim speaker says not all suffering is bad.
We suffer from cold, and we feel pain. And as a result of that, we try to get rid of that, or we try to improve our situation. So this way we get to invent more or find more ways of removing suffering.
The event lasted a few hours, with audience members being invited to ask questions. But no matter what views were discussed, the reason for gathering stayed the same.
Have a bit of an appreciation of what the other perspective is all about, bring the community together, and especially since we are getting more and more diverse in Canada.
Anna Knopfate, Newcap News.